What if your biggest obstacle isn't necessarily what you think it is? Like what if it's not the challenge that's in your way or the problem that you have to figure out and deal with? It's actually how you deal with that problem. I know for me, learning how to walk again and run again after being paralyzed from the chest down, thinking back on that, you would think like the biggest thing for me was to actually learn how to do those things because I was told that I was not going to be able to. But as I look back and as I've been asked multiple times, like, how were you able to do what you were able to do? It really came down to three things. And that's desire, belief, and expectancy. See, for me, like my why was so big. Like there wasn't any option for me other than success. Like I had to succeed or else I was gonna be stuck. I was gonna be stuck in a wheelchair or a walker, or canes or crutches or whatever. But my why was so big that I had this huge desire to succeed. And what I've found is that when your why is big enough, it's going to pull you through whatever stands in your way. And it doesn't matter how much work you have to do to get it. It all becomes irrelevant if your desire is big enough. If your why is big enough, if your reasons are big enough. I mean, your reasons have to be huge because they are the things that are going to pull you out of bed in the morning when you are dead tired and you don't want to do the things that you need to do to get where you want to go or what you want to get. The why, the reasons, those are the things that are going to pull you through the obstacles which you think are your biggest challenge. But again, it's up here. It's that desire, that burn, that fuel, that itch, that driving force that gnaws at you, that pulls at you. That's the thing that's always reminding the guy, we have to keep working. We have to keep grinding. We have to keep pushing. We have to keep ourselves motivated because we're more uncomfortable with the thought of what if we don't succeed than the uncomfortability or the difficulty of doing the things that are hard in order to get what we want, in order to achieve success. And here's what I've also found out is as you have that desire, that burn that is pulling you through these obstacles and challenges and problems, that as you start to take action repeatedly, day in and day out, and don't get it twisted, it doesn't have to be these huge steps, like these huge, grandiose motions. They can be little steps because we all know that when we stack small wins over and over again, over time, they turn into big ones. But as long as we are continually moving forward, continuous improvement is the name of the game. As we have that desire to push and we start to make those small incremental steps, we start to gain belief in ourselves. Because as we start to gain traction and we can look back on and see like what I've done up to this point to start to make some movement towards the goal that I have, we start to believe in ourselves. Right. And this is so important. This is where self-confidence, self-esteem comes in. It's where it comes from. When you start to look back on your accomplishments, your achievements, the actions that you were able to take, you start to believe in you. You start to believe in what you're able to do. And now you're not just trusting the process, right? You're making the process happen for you. You're not letting life happen to you. You're making it happen for you. And as you start to stack those small wins, you'll start to see that your self-esteem and your self-belief starts to get bigger and bigger. It starts to increase. It starts to grow. And you start to find yourself doing things you may not have done before. You start to step outside of your comfort zone because you start to realize the only way that I'm going to be able to get to where I want to go is I have to stretch. I have to get uncomfortable. I have to get outside of my comfort zone. But as I look back on all the things that I've been able to achieve up to this point, I start to believe I could do that. I start to believe that I have what it takes to continue to move forward, to push through this problem, this obstacle, this challenge that stands before me, whether that is physical, whether that is mental. This addresses all the issues. When your desire is big enough, The work you have to put in is irrelevant. And as you put that work in, you start to build that belief, that self-confidence. You start to know that I have what it takes to get the things that I want to get. Now, that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. It's not easy street, right? You still have to put the work in. You still have to do the hard things. But again, as you do those hard things one after the other, you gain that confidence. And now you start to expect success. And I know, again, for me, I'll use myself and my story as an example. As I was going from a wheelchair to 2 canes, to crutches, to 1 cane, to nothing, the expectancy for me was I'm going to walk again without any sort of durable medical equipment, because that was my desire, right? My desire was the end goal. I'm coming back from the surgery no matter what, because in my head I had 2 options. Either I get it done or I get it done, right? So as I'm working towards this and I'm building belief, as I am making those small steps, I start to expect, like, you know what? This is going to happen no matter what. It doesn't matter how long it's going to take. It doesn't matter what stands in my way. I expect to reach my goal. And expectancy is as simple as most of us, we wake up in the morning and we expect to see the sun come up, right? Or I was talking to my kids the other day about this expectancy thing. Like, when you're standing outside at the end of our driveway on a Monday, you expect to see the school bus pull up. Like, you're not even thinking about it. Like, you just know it's coming. And if we can have that kind of mindset when we are going after the things that we want to achieve, the success that we want to have, that we expect it to come because we know we've been putting in the work all of this time. We have the desire that starts to drive the action, which builds the belief, which then allows us to expect success. Expect us to be able to step into the next best version of ourselves, because that's what it's going to take to get to the thing that we want. Because we all know the things that we've done in the past that have got us to this point are not going to be the things that we need to do to get us to the future and the next point where we want to be. But when we start with that desire being big enough, that why being big enough, that burn, that fuel being big enough, that starts to push us outside of our comfort zone. And we start to take those small steps and we start to build that confidence, one action after the other. Start to create that belief in ourselves. We start to build our own self-esteem and our own self-belief. We can then start to expect that through all the actions that we take, through the positive mindset that we have, that we will eventually achieve our goal. Desire, belief, expect.